Alright, of note, I wanted to say a few things. This is I think it's called an analog video display. It's plugged in, but it's actually not working. It doesn't matter. This motherboard does have an onboard GPU. I believe I have turned it off. Instead, what you will need is I think this is called a digital HD DV cable, and this plugs directly into the back of one of these cards. HDMI cable. So just remove the boot and then plug it in like this, and that will power your screen. So you'll need one of those cables for your monitor. Now there's a few different ways to connect these cards together. One of the cards has something called a 16X connector. Now these are PCE slots, and on those adapters they go to these little prongs, and these I think these are called 1X. They can fit in either the 1X slot, or they can fit into the 16 slot, and they work totally fine. This big piece of 16X adapter, when used with this, you do not need to plug in the secondary Molex to the adapter. It gets power directly from the board. So where all the other GPUs will have this secondary attachment for extra power, this one will not. Of course, that GPU still needs its VGA 8-pin connected to it. But this, being a 16, designates your number one GPU. The number one GPU is the one you want to plug in your video to, and that's the one that will display on the monitor. So that might be hard to figure out without that tip. Secondly, this is I think the most complicated section. How to turn on the motherboard. Currently, I have not bought a auxiliary switch, so what I'm doing is using the whole entire front cover of my old computer. This is the power button, of course. Just press that and it'll work. The way to plug it together is you'll have the cord with two little adapters, and the further one goes into just over where it says China. It's an 8-pin, and I believe these are built in a way that the pins don't line up except exactly where they're supposed to go. I'm going to try to keep this together and plugged in when I ship it. If I can't, you're going to have to try to figure it out, and I can call you, or you can talk to me about the questions. Now these, I'm not sure if the camera can pick these up. Can you?
What?
The little, these, what they say?
What does it say?
HDD LED.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is important. This is how the switch connects with your motherboard. See it? Is that okay? Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Alright, so HDD LED, red and white. Okay, so that goes into the front two prongs. Then behind that you have these green and white, which are positive and negative. You're probably going to need a magnifying glass to see these. I needed one. It also displays where they go here on the board, which I definitely needed a magnifying glass. And then the reset switch, obviously, the next two over. And then the power switch directly behind that, and these other pins are not used. That is the most technical part about the entire build. Alright, next. Next you will, the main power that's powering the board comes from this, I cannot remember what it's called. It is the way the board gets its power. think it's called a something express as well. Just disconnect that, or in your case you'll be connecting it.
Get a steady from it.
Okay, so that goes there, and then you have another cable. This is another 8-pin CPU 8-pin, and both of the power supplies are going to have two variations of 8 pins. One of them is going to say CPU, the other one's going to say VGA, and that is pretty much the only difficult part. This is where your mouse and keyboard go. Doesn't matter what order. I think one of those was a USB cable. This is another USB cable. This is a hard disk. And then your Ethernet cable goes here, top. This is a printer, and I think that's another mouse. But yeah, that's your entire motherboard. I zip tied the motherboard to the frame. Next I'll take apart the frame. Okay.